Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a deck discussion on Wirbel Dragon. I think this is a very interesting deck and card design. It is probably the best card when it comes to the example of what they could be doing for the energy generator and just energy in general. Because instead of just slapping energy, like maybe energy blast 2 or something onto a card as a cost, this is quite clearly built all around needing to energy blast and gaining additional costs for additional energy throughout the turn. I think it is very interesting. It is far from the best Dragon Empire deck you can be playing and far from the best deck you can be playing in general in Standard at the moment. But it is very fun. It's just very typical Kagero, like traditional Kagero, kill your opponent's rear guards, restand your Vanguard type of deck. Very fun. What makes Wirbel so interesting, to me at least, and why I think it's a good design for energy, is beginning of main phase, you get 3 energy. And then you energy blast 3 and kill one of your opponent's rear guards. If you can't, it gains 5k or 10k if your opponent's at grade 3. Very interesting, especially with this guy that gives you an additional 3 energy, but locks you out of the energy generator for the rest of the turn. So we'll talk about the rest of it later, but we'll quickly talk about the ride line. So obviously you're going to be running the 2 because he reduces Wirbel's counterblast for the first turn, which is very, very important. Lots of counterblast in the deck. So being able to just reduce Wirbel's counterblast cost by 1 is no-brainer, really. We're playing his actual grade 1 for the ride line. You could be playing Vigilla to give you a free ride. Pseudo, quote-unquote, free ride. You still have to pay the cost of Soul Blast 1, but for all intents and purposes, in this deck, that is free. You don't use Soul a lot. Like, Wirbel wants to Soul Blast himself. Then there's 1 or 2 other cards that Soul Blast. But the reason I'm running this one is because if you don't run this, you can become inefficient with the amount of energy you get, and you can max out at 10, so you don't gain the proper amount that you would gain otherwise if you go second. So if you have Vigilla, you go to 1, you gain 3, go to 2, you gain another 3, go to then 3, you gain another 3, and then with Wirbel at the start of main phase, you gain an additional 3, but you would only gain 1 because you maxed out at 10. So just for efficiency, I like this. Also, you draw a card. So in a way, it's not really minusing you. It's just your immediate card choices. For the actual main deck, obviously we're running 3 additional Wirbels. It's a Persona Ride deck. You need to be Soul Blasting himself. There's not a whole lot to say about it. 3 Tribash. So I thought about running the grade 3 from Festival Collection 2025, but it needs energy to utilize its effect to the most it can, which isn't what you really want to be doing in this deck. This deck wants to be committing the energy solely to Wirbel. And since you do control what your opponent can have on board, it's just makes sense to have something that gives you the payoff for that. And since you restand, Tribash can help put a bit more pressure on your opponent, especially if maybe you're going first, your opponent's still at grade 2. You can, since you won't have drives on the restand, this is a bit more pressure. So I quite like it because of that. We'll talk about this guy while we're here because they're kind of here in tandem. This guy will always be a 10k guard because just from playing the game, your opponent's drop zone will fill up. And also, you're a control retire based deck, so it will fill up. But he's also here just to find the Tribash. You Soul Blast the Wirbel, so you will be Soul Blasting the one from the Ride deck, so it doesn't feel too super bad if you have to take an additional one out of the Soul to pay its cost to try to find Wirbel, not Wirbel, sorry, Triabash. We've got the 4 Bishara, his named grade 2, Wirbel's grade 2 support. 4 Kolgaflan. Don't know what we're calling this cycle. I just know that everything is a cycler of some sort. Obviously, it's good because it cycles a card, so you don't go down in card value. But also on a Persona ride, even though it eats into a counterblast to kill a column, it saves you energy, so you can be powering up a Wirbel instead of killing your opponent's rear guards. Unfortunately, it is only on the Persona ride, but that just makes Wirbel that much more potent with how big it can be hitting. And then 2 of the Dragon Empire Dark State Dual Nation. It lets you reuse Shenries. It can just snipe something if they have it. It gives you the soul charge. If you're really cheeky, you could potentially soul charge a Wirbel for the first grade 3 turn you have. That's very unlikely, obviously, but that is funny that that could happen. Grade 1s, we've got the named thing for Wirbel. He gives you energy, and he can restand if we got Wirbel. I've got 4 of this guy, Tarek. So this slot's kind of weird. It's just personal of what you could want to have. There's a lot of other things you can be running, but this is just kind of like its condition will always be met. He will always be a 13k booster because you just need to be energy blasting 3 or more for the cost of something during the turn. Wirbel is energy blast 3. If you do not energy blast for some reason during the turn, something horrible has gone wrong. So it's always a 13k booster. 3 Shenries. You could take one of these out for a Shenry, but you know. And then 3 PGs and Sanctitude. We've also got 1 Defensing Roar. A little bit of the anticipation for potential ban list. And also just in a deck like this, I kind of like it at 1. You could maybe do it at 2, but I wouldn't want to go overboard on Blitz Orders just because you don't get as much value out of them as some other decks. Like, at least some other Stoicheia decks or something would like more orders just in general in the drop. Lascaria wants blitzes, obviously. Obviously, it's a really, really good blitz, but it's still you still only get to play 1. We've got 8 crit because we're a restanding Vanguard, and because we're a restanding Vanguard, 3 front just because it lets you hit so much harder. I was thinking draws just to let you see more of the pieces, but this is so much better. Drag Vader because we're a Dragon Empire deck that does not have this restricted to us, so we will run this. 2 normal heals, the restander heal, and the grade is high. Grade is less than your opponent's against 10k. I like this. I know not a lot of people like it, but it's 20k guard on if you're like down, and it's also just an easy discard because it's not a lot of value, shield value. Yeah. This is my take on Wirbel. It's very, very fun to play. It's very cheap deck, so if you can afford to pick it up, I suggest you do pick it up. Not a lot of the stuff in the deck is really expensive. Probably just the Shenries. Like, even this guy is not a lot. This guy's come down a lot since Festival Collection. So it's probably just Shenry, maybe Defensing Roar. Gonna be honest, don't know the price on that card. But very fun deck. Definitely worth a try. Okay then, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was insightful. Okay then, bye bye.